We are in Cannes for stage 5 of the Longines Global Champions Tour, and we are getting ready for tonight's massive LGCT Grand Prix. We are in the French Riviera, known as the jewel of this region, and we are hopefully looking forward to some magical show jumping come the end of the night. Thank you for joining us here in Cannes for the 5th stage of the season, and what better way to start this stage than with a man who has been incredibly successful here in Cannes in the past. Michael van der Vleuten joins us in the studio to open up the show. Michael, this must be a very happy hunting ground. You must be very happy to always return to the city of Cannes.
Yeah, exactly. I must say, somehow I really enjoy being here every year. The horses, they feel very well here, and for us as a rider, it's a very relaxed place to compete. And I must say, looking back in the past, I've been here for many years, and I could do some great things here in the past. So from that point, I've been lucky a couple of times here. And yeah, let's see what the Grand Prix brings later on.
I think luck had nothing to do with it, but let's talk about what is needed to be successful here. You are right, you've had some wonderful memories here in the past. As someone that has been successful here, what would your description be of what is necessary to succeed here? It can be a very tricky, very difficult place to win at. So what is needed in Cannes to become successful?
Yeah, I think first of all, it's always some fantastic riders and horses at the Longines Global Champions Tour events. So you definitely need fantastic horses, competitive horses, who also want to win as much as myself. Every venue has a special type of, you know, you have grass arena, sand arena. If you see, like here in Cannes, it's all very delicate, like very light jumps. So that means you need a very sharp horse that really pays attention at the jump, who is very careful, who tries to leave the rails on top. And beside that, you need very quick horses to on the end get the best time, you know, to be on top of the leaderboard.
When I see Michael van der Vleuten on a team sheet or on a start list, and I know that Beauville is in town, I expect that to be the combination. You've gone for O'Bailey tonight. Can you talk to us about the decision behind having Beauville here but opting for O'Bailey instead?
Yeah, okay. We also have to look every time. Yeah, we live at the moment, and what I felt the last couple of weeks, that Beauville was actually a little bit in a, let's say, not in the way he is normally, in good shape. You know, I missed something on him, and that took me a couple of weeks to find out a bit what was actually the main problem. So we tried to solve that, and I must say, I think we are really on the right way to get him back to the biggest Grand Prix. But he had a few weeks off. Last week he jumped his first show, and I think we showed last Thursday that we actually are back in shape, winning the first team round here in Cannes. So, but for me it was a little bit too early to bring him back for the Grand Prix tonight. So that was actually the reason why this show I choose for O'Bailey.
Well, you've had success here in the past, maybe more success tonight, so best of luck, and we'll keep a seat open for you.
All right, thank you very much.
Michael van der Vleuten, hopefully looking to try and find more success here in Cannes yet again. He has taken the decision to ride O'Bailey. Will he go on to replicate former results? We'll have to wait and see. Before we continue with any more Cannes conversation, let's take a moment to reflect on what brought us to this point. Let's remind you as to what took place at the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Madrid.
Welcome to the Spanish capital, Madrid. Hans-Dieter Dreyer and his horse. Now to the double, pops the first putt, rolls it, gets away with it. And he's clear for this young lady from Greece, Julie Mitoleneu. She's got a real chance. Can she kick on? This could be a landmark moment for the lady from Greece. Oh my word! Thank you very much. 34 seconds dead. That is stunning. Peter Devos. He's been round the block, he knows what he needs to do. Can he make up the time to this fence over it? Looks a little down, and he's going wide. I don't think he's going to do it. No, he's not. because he's coming to the final fence. And Peter Devos has put in a good round, but not a quick enough round. Marco Kutscher stands between her and victory. Looking to get back to the winner's rostrum on top again. Now, 34 seconds to beat. Spot on. I don't think he's going to do it. Coming to the final fence. Is he going to do it? No! What a surprise winner here in Madrid. But a big moment. Marco Kutscher couldn't match the time.
I mean, I really just did all I could do. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to push the limit a bit and get a bit quicker myself. It paid off today, and he was incredible. I mean, we had a couple rubs in the jump off, and I suppose that's what it's all about. They stayed up, and yeah, it's my first 5-star win, and to do it here in Madrid with this crowd, it's unbelievable.
What a result for Joli Mitlineo. What a result for her. Her first ever Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win, to do it on that massive grass ring in Madrid. It will forever be her first, and I imagine that many people will be feeling like that is the first of many to come in a very, very promising career. What is the impact of Madrid now? That is the next question. If we take a look at the overall rankings, how has the outcome of Madrid affected that overall ranking now coming into Cannes on stage 5? Gilles Thomas, the new championship leader, is not present here in Cannes, but Edwina Thops-Alexander in second is present and has qualified. Dennis Lynch, third, is in Cannes and has qualified. So what a golden opportunity for Thops-Alexander and for Lynch to make up some massive championship ground and arguably become the new Longines Global Champions Tour leaders by the end of the night. I remind you as well that Edwina Thops-Alexander, a 2-time overall season winner, is looking to try and win a 3rd title to level that feat of Ben Mayer. She won back in 2011, she won back in 2012, and she has been waiting for a long, long time to finally get her hands on a 3rd season win on the Longines Global Champions Tour. We took some time to meet up with the Australian and get the thoughts of Edwina Thops-Alexander ahead of tonight's Grand Prix.
You've so many memories here in Cannes. Some even call you the Queen of Cannes. What is it about this place that makes it so special? Is it the atmosphere? Is it the lights? What is it for you that makes it so amazing?
Obviously, having great shows here makes it really, really special, and I think it's quite cozy, you know. And on top of that, it's a different size ring to a lot of the rings that we're used to riding in. It's almost kind of a square-shaped ring, which really makes the lines different. The fences come up quite quick. The lines ride different to how they walk, and sometimes they look so different with other horses than how they feel with your own. So there's a lot of elements involved, and I think it's one of the toughest Grand Prix of the tour, actually. With
one rider dropping out, you sneak into the Grand Prix. Now mentally, how do you prepare for an LGCT Grand Prix back here in Cannes?
It's not easy because I know I'm going to be the first to go, so you're always at a huge disadvantage. But I do my own track. I ride it the way I'm going to walk it. I prepare myself mentally in the same way as I always would, and I'll have the best ground. Maybe I'll have different lighting, and you just go in there and give it your maximum.
Lighting-wise, how important do you think that will be through the class?
Yeah, look, the lights are very good here, for sure, but I think at 8 o'clock when it starts tomorrow night, it'll be still a little bit light. So I think my horses are good anyway under lights, you know. Probably it's okay to give them something to look at anyway. But yeah, look, I think that's definitely an advantage, possibly. I have to think of the pros and cons, but at the end of the day, I'm number 1 to go, and I just have to go in and ride my plan and stick to my plan as much as possible and do the best I can.
It's a long season in the LGCT Championship. You've won it twice before. You could equal Ben Mayer's record of 3 this season if you win it again. How much is that in your mind? How much is it affecting your mindset through the season, if at all?
Yeah, look, I take it show by show. Of course, it's an achievement that I want to have, and I want to get there. And but you can only do as much as you can, and I don't have as much horsepower maybe as I did then, and so I have to really pick and choose and try to do the best I can on those days, which makes it not as easy. But it is what it is, and I have to be very good on those days and try to get the best results.
So just lastly, with the improvements that you've flagged from the previous rounds and just qualifying, realistically, what are your hopes and your aims for the Grand Prix?
I mean, my aim is to jump double clear. My hope is to be in the middle of the podium, and then everything will be great.
In an update to the Edwina Tops-Alexander story, the good news for her is that she's a little bit later to go. She is no longer the first rider out the gate. She will now be going third tonight. So does it make a big difference from 1 to 3? Perhaps not, but I don't think anyone really wants to be first. That now belongs to Jörg Frieling. He will be the first man to go. Gregory Cotard will be second. Edwina Tops-Alexander now once again looking for another crown in Cannes, will be the third rider to go later on tonight. Now, in a city that is famous for its cinema, in fact, the famous film festival that takes place just down the shoreline, very, very close to the venue here, we figured that it would be incredibly important to take some moments and speak to the riders about their world, their life in cinema. Let's take a look.
Comedy.
I like Grimmies.
Probably comedy.
Comedy.
I prefer action.
Action, especially before riding, that keeps you awake.
Drama, but I need a good ending.
My favorite movie is Lion.
I would say the Inception.
My cousin Vinny.
Harold and Maude.
Gladiator.
Shutter Island.
I love all the Marvel movies.
Creed 2. Never-ending story. Many years later I watched it again and I couldn't understand why I was so much into it.
Brad Pitt.
I'll come back to that one.
I wish somebody from James Bond maybe.
I think my father could do it very well.
Keira Knightley. She's like really perfectionistic, and I'm that way as well.
Nicole Kidman.
Maybe Uma Thurman.
Halle Berry.
Ashton Kutcher, no?
Well, it seems like the majority of the show jumping world are some pretty big film heads, but the big question then is, who then is going to make cinema here tonight inside this famous show jumping arena? Who then is going to be the main movie star later on this evening by the time tonight's Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix comes to a close? I'll tell you who was a big box office sensation in 2024, and that was Thibaut Spitz. The young Belgian at the time may not have won the Grand Prix, but finishing fourth last year here in Cannes, many view that as the real springboard to what proved to be the best year of his career. From there on, landed up producing fantastic results, won the LGCT Grand Prix of Riesenbach later that year, but attributes that performance here in Cannes as a real springboard to his career. We took some time to meet up with Thibaut Spitz to get his thoughts on jumping in Cannes.
Aiming for a double clear. Thibaut Spitz, an impress K, 43.23 seconds. Double clear, he is his first ever double clear in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix.
Cannes last year, of course, was for me a very good experience, very nice memory. I think, of course, like my horse Impress was already jumping good throughout the year. I think Cannes was the first time it jumped a Grand Prix. So it was also for him like his first big step up, and then to be fourth here last year was yeah, something I didn't expect, and a start of many beautiful things for me. 2024 has been my greatest year, my best year so far, and has really put me up on the big scene. Okay, now. Obviously, I'm very lucky to have Impress and to have some other nice horses, because as we all know, like without them, that's not possible. But I think just for me, 24 has been like a very important year, and it's been like a real step up for me. GCL of Cannes was a very challenging one. Yeah, very big jumping, difficult lines, technical. But I was happy with how Impress felt. When I started him this season, I felt a bit like I lost a little bit of rhythm with him. I felt a bit how I had to ride him in the course, and then try to change a bit with the setups and all. But now I actually start to have the feeling again that I want to have. and how we felt last year, and I'm sure we're able to deliver clear rounds. So yeah, why not? Then obviously it's also possible to win ones if the luck's by our side. There's so many riders in the Global Champions Tour that have been my heroes growing up, and then of course, like if you're struggling with something, you're here, you could as well just ask them something or what they think of something. For me, in Belgium, of course, Peter, Niels and Gilles are guys that I'm very close with, and I think anyways in Belgium everyone is very close, has like a very good team spirit. But of course also here, just to see the guys like Christian Koekoek and so many others training, it's very interesting. And every time you're at the Global, when you have some time, always try to focus a bit on how they do it and how they handle things. I think it's very interesting to see, and you could as well just try to learn from them.
Thibaut Spitz famously walking down the marina up to the Cannes Arena here, hoping to replicate that wonderful form that we saw in 2024. Let's cross the dance range for the first time tonight. Live in the ring, getting some reaction. I believe Andreas Skau is standing by. Dan, let's get some thoughts from Andreas.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Andreas, first of all, you've walked the course. What are your initial reactions to it?
No, it's definitely big jumping again today. And again, Juliano built a track with a lot of funny angles where he's going to change the balance a lot from the horses. So I think we're going to see a little bit unexpected falls again today, like in the qualifier.
You went clear, you jumped fourth in Shanghai and were the first to go clear there. Here we're by fence 2, and we're just going to talk about one of those awkward talks. So walk with me, Andreas. We're over 2 here, big oxer. Then you've got to come back on yourself to 3. Let's walk the angle you'll take.
Yeah, I'm going to walk it like 1-2 is a nice steady 7, and then 2-3 is one of the places where we for sure can save time. You know, my horse is a big one, he's a slow one, so this is one of the places I'm for sure going to turn up rather tight. And this guy built a very tough track for us. So, and then afterwards, if I give him a little bit of room here, it's going to be a nice 7 for me towards the wall coming up as number 4.
FACR there just having a word and looking at the course himself. And then this vertical. This will be jumped in the jump off as well. That's why the 15's there. You said it's a big course.
Yeah.
Are you confident?
I'm very confident. As you know, Napoli is a very scopy horse. Every Grand Prix, I hope that they build it big, because normally that will give for sure more mistakes. I know my horse, on the right day, he can jump any track in the world. So I hope for big jumps, yes.
Andreas, so much thanks for your time. Good luck to you in Napoli in the first round here, in the round here in Cannes, the LGCT. Mark, great to hear from Andreas. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Dan Strange. And he's right, Napoli has the ability to deal with most courses around the world. Funny to see Uliano Vizzani, the course designer, bump into you two and have a bit of a chuckle with Andreas Skau. How big of a role is Uliano Vizzani going to play tonight? Are we going to be talking about the course come the end of the evening? Where are those faults going to lie? And where are the biggest challenges for the riders going to be? I'll tell you a challenge for the riders that has nothing to do with Uliano Vizzani at all, and that is the floodlights. Now, many shows around the world, of course, take place either indoor or outside under floodlights. It is nothing new, but it can certainly provide challenges to younger riders in particular, and to perhaps less experienced horses as well. Jumping under the floodlights, how big of an impact does it have? Let's take a look.
Cannes by night is a city of red carpets and spotlights. But for show jumpers, it's floodlights that bring the drama. The arena comes alive after dark, and not every horse is ready.
Well, it could go wrong with lights and without, that's for sure. Like it's a challenge every time for us, but yeah, I think like many horses get really shy with the Liverpools. They get really small, and of course they get a little bit shy on the jump.
For example, Dourados, the bigger atmosphere, lights, night, better for him. It makes him much more. He sharpens himself a little bit up, which is good. And like for Cooper, for example, I'm still, if I had to decide, I'd prefer to jump during the day because he's younger. But for sure, for some horses, for Dourados, for example, he makes him shine.
Every single time it's exciting, I have to say. I feel like it's something special for the crowd, but also for the horses, so it's not for every horse quite easy. And I have to say, especially my one is also very sharp under the lights. That's why I picked actually this class as a preparation for the Grand Prix tomorrow. I thought if she jumps tonight already under the light, she's a little bit more used to it for tomorrow, and hopefully it was a good idea. Normally you always start, or you want to start as small as possible under the lights, which is not so easy because normally the night classes are the big classes.
Of course, we kind of find some smaller shows, 3-4 star, that we could jump those smaller classes with younger ones, and they could get used slowly to these events.
There is shadows, and sometimes more during the day when the sun changes, we have shadows, and for some horses they looked a little bit and they think it's almost a ground line if you have a shadow before the fence or after the fence. But here the light is good, so I don't think we have to deal with that.
Yeah, I like it honestly. I don't know, it's kind of a little bit more exciting. Like the people, the crowd is more excited. I have the feeling. It's always something special. I don't know, it's maybe hard to explain, but I like it.
I really like that comment from Christian Kukuk, that riding under the lights just gives it a slightly different feel, a slightly different environment, something a little extra special about jumping under lights. And that is exactly the atmosphere that Cannes is going to deliver here tonight. Get some more thoughts and some reaction from the riders. Once again, back to Dan Strange. I believe he's standing by with Christian Ullmann. An untouched LB will be the combination today. Dan, let's hear from Christian.
Yeah, Mark, it's the Grand Prix of the Christians, going from Kukuk to Ullmann, multiple LGCT Grand Prix winner. Christian, you've been studying the course, which is up on the final fence here. What's your view of what Uliano's put out for you today?
Yeah, I walked the first round. I think it's very big. It's also some different lines we don't have normally, like really tricky lines here with the oxa into the double. Then we have a strange way from the plank to the triple. Some fences come really quick, and then we have long lines again. So I think we don't see many clears today.
How do you think it will suit Untouched LB? You ride Untouched LB today. Not many clear rounds at this level for that horse. How will it suit him?
Oh, that's difficult to say. We are still in the very beginning of the career. He is a fantastic horse. He's only 9. He jumped very few five-star Grand Prix, but he still needs a lot of experience. We try our best today. He's able to jump clear in the right moment, but it's still no computer, and it's still not that we know more or less what we're gonna have. It's really suit him or not. He's a fantastic horse, and as a rider I have to try my best, and then I think we have a chance.
It's a compliment to Untouched LB that at 9 you're testing him in a Grand Prix, because to people from outside the sport, maybe watching for the first time, it's rarer for younger horses like that to jump at this level.
Yes, it's the beginning of the career. He did like youngster classes when he was 7 and 8. Did some 45, 150 classes, and then now at the end of the indoor season we had the first Grand Prix. And we started outside, and now we have the second or third Grand Prix, big Grand Prix in his life. So this is really tough class, not only for him, I think for all the horses here tonight. So it's a big thing for us. But like I said, he has amazing scope and quality, and I hope as a rider I do right today, and then we have a chance.
Christian, thanks so much for your time. I know you're itching to go off and finish walking the course. Thank you, Christian Ullmann. Good luck to him and Untouched LB. It's a massive course down here, as Christian said. He's got a good chance, but very much on young Untouched LB.
All right, Dan Strange, thank you very much. Christian Ullmann, thank you very much. 23rd out the gate today. He'll be quite early to go right after that break. I remind you that takes place after the 20th rider. The 40 best riders in Cannes this weekend, all competing for tonight's major prize. That need I remind you as well, when we talk about total prize money here today, 500,000 euros available tonight in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes. 500,000 euros up for grabs. Let's look ahead as to what comes throughout the rest of the season. We now enter a really crazy, busy summer period, whereas from now over the next couple of weeks, shows will come thick and fast. We wrap up here in Cannes. In just a couple days' time, we stay on the French Riviera. We go off to Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez for the next stage. We then head off to Paris. We go back to the Champ du Mars with the iconic Eiffel Tower right alongside us. And then, once again, back to Nice, once again to the French Riviera for the incredibly popular Grand Prix that takes place in Monaco. All of those shows, all of those stages, highly sought after, tickets in high demand, sold out shows as well. So make sure that you are starting to put these shows down on your calendar. Make sure that you can give that opportunity to yourself to make sure that you can come through and check out all of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix action. It goes beyond Monaco, of course, as we then head into Valkenswaard, into Riesebeck, into London, into Rome, into Riyadh, and of course the rest of the shows throughout the year as well. It is a fascinating season, and we hope that you will join us as we give you a ticket to see the world through the eyes of this incredible show jumping machine that is designed to bring together the best show jumpers throughout the entire world every single week to the most iconic, beautiful destinations that you see right there in front of you. What a city and what a coastline here in Cannes as we get ready for the upcoming 5th stage of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. We are almost ready. The riders are almost ready, and we are preparing to go through to the start of tonight's Grand Prix. The 40 best riders, 500,000 euros up for grabs. And I promise you one thing, by the time the lights go on, by the time this late sunset eventually falls, it is going to be magic. It is going to be cinema. It is going to have a red carpet feel. Dan Strange, red carpet, you would expect nothing less here in the city of Cannes, correct?
Very much so, Mark. They're lined up, waiting to get their champagne, get their drinks, get their food, and then take their seats ready for, of course, the LGCT Grand Prix of Cannes 2025. Of course, Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann won in 2024. Now, what you'll see as we come round into one of the stunning lounges here on the Global Champions Tour, it's packed. The lounges are packed, but also the grandstands off in the distance are sold out too. That's because here on the Côte d'Azur, the Global Champions Tour, the LGCT Grand Prix are so popular. It's the hottest ticket in town. It's not just here about film stars. It's also about the show jumping. Now, of course, first in a few moments' time will be Jurg Vrieling. The Dutchman has been really successful on this tour before. Last in the arena tonight, 40th to go, will be Simon Delestre. The Frenchman, no doubt, will enter the arena to raptures. Can he go clear? Giuliano Vezzani again has built a phenomenal course. Look at everyone in here. Look at everyone as the sun is setting behind us in Cannes. They're all ready. It's cooling down a touch. It's still a warm evening, but this is going to be a red-hot LGCT Grand Prix because Cannes always is. Last year, Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann lit up Cannes, and this year, under the floodlights, who will it be? Emanuele Camilli, he won, of course, in Mexico, the only winner this year to be going in the Grand Prix tonight. He rides 6th, and it will be fascinating to see. Can he make the jump off? Can he, Mark, win for a second time? Mark, it's a stunning area around here, and it's absolutely packed.
All right, Dan Strange, thank you very much. We'll let you go. I'm not sure if he's standing in line for some champagne as well. Perhaps he is. And if you are Dan Strange, come and bring some champagne through to the studio as well. He talks about that start list, and he mentions Simon de Lestre as being the last rider out of the 40 to go. Let me take you through just very quickly some of the last few names that are on the start list here tonight. Lorenzo De Luca, an LGCT Grand Prix winner in Falkenswaard last year. We have Duarte Abra winning the Global Champions League with the Saint-Tropez Pirates earlier on this week. You have Michael van der Vleuten, who we had in the studio earlier on, winner here in Cannes. We have Harry Smulders, a former LGCT overall championship winner. And then Simon de Lestre, the best qualifying rider from the weekend, who is the last man to go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are rather just the last 5 or 6 riders on this start list. The entire start list from 1 to 40 is absolutely jam-packed with stars, absolutely jam-packed with winners, and absolutely jam-packed with champions. The big question now simply becomes, of these 40 riders, which of them is going to be the best tonight? Who then takes the crown away from Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann from 2024? She is not competing. And let's not forget as well that Gilles Thomas is not here, the championship leader. Dennis Lynch, Edwin Tops Alexander, they are both here and have the opportunity to become the new championship leaders by the end of the night. It all starts right now. Ladies and gentlemen, the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes is next.
It is simply very special to welcome you, everybody, to the Longines Global Champions Tour Leg 5, the City of Stars. Cannes is this wonderful location on the French Riviera. We have been coming here since 2006, so 17 former editions. And the names that have won this class, the combinations, are some of the best we've ever had in world show jumping. 2008, Meredith Michaels-Beerbaum won here with Shutterfly. Only 2 riders have won here twice. And Adrina Tops Alexander, she will start tonight, having won 2010 and 2011 with the same horse, Ito de Chateau. Scott Brash won it as well in 2014 with Hello Sanctos and 2016 with Hello Forever. So the names are incredible that have claimed this Grand Prix. Marcus Enning won it in 2013 with Plot Blue. So you take my point as the quality of the combinations that have lifted the Grand Prix trophy. Delighted to welcome you to the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes, presented by La Vie de Cannes this evening. The prize purse is enormous. It is a €500,000 total fund, and of that amount it will be €125,000 to go to our champion. The start field is impressive once again. We've had 4 separate winners on the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix so far this year. Abdul Said won the opener. We then had the great win. Emanuela Camilli won in Mexico City. Shanghai went to Scott Brash, and the last leg, Yoli Mitsulineo. We will have Michael van der Vleuten starting tonight. He won here 2 years ago in 2023. And what a start field it is that assembles here on the French Riviera. This is a world ranking class of the highest order. AA points are available tonight. It's a weighted system, and the most important Grand Prix globally are AA classes, with the biggest number of points on offer for the leading combinations this evening. And also the added interest is that it is a minimum eligibility requirements competition, as riders try to qualify for the European Championships later this year in La Coruña and for the Worlds in Aachen next year. Well, Gilles Thomas, he was second and behind Scott Brash in Shanghai. And he is our leader after 4 legs, 87 points. Adrina Tops Alexander, she's had a very strong start to her new year. The double champion here will start a little bit later. And Max Kuhner, he was a season champion last year. He's got some work to do, but he will certainly operate tonight. He is 11th as things stand. And Christian Kukuk, he'll be chasing tonight with Just Be Gentle. What a start field it is that assembles here on the Côte d'Azur. Now the course of Ilyana Vetsani, we take you around this massive Grand Prix track for the Longines Global Champions Tour of Cannes this evening. This is the Stade des Hespérides. And they'll travel at 375 meters per minute. The max height 160 that Uliano can utilize. It is the Prague Playoffs vertical fence 153 tall down then on 7 strides to the Longines Global Champions Tour Oxa 150 square. It's a sharp right-hander into the first max height vertical. Multicolored it is at 3. And then it's 8 strides and outside line down to this enormous wall. 160 is its height. Cut out sides laterally to distract the horses potentially. This is a huge line, 5 the Oxa, 155 by 160, and then quite a holding 4 strides it will walk. Down to the first of the 2 combinations tonight, the double. The Seahorses and Waves is at 6 A and B, 160 is the vertical entering. It then wheels 820. 1 stride down to a very imposing Oxa 6B, 155 to 160 is its width. That is the first of the combinations. There's then looming an enormous Oxa around this corner, the Feathers. 155 tall, 160 wide is fence number 7. It's lilac, purple and black. It's very airy and feeling, and then it will be a cut right-hander down to this enormous plank. A red plank on top. The Cannes film fence is 160 tall. They then swing into this Longines treble combination. 153 tall, a little concession on height, but it's wide in 160. It's with 2 strides on 11 meters and 30 down to this enormous Oxa. Same strides again, but it's very, very airy. And then 1 stride on 8 meters and 10 down to this exiting vertical. 9C is 160. Max height out of a big, demanding scope line. The GC Oxa is imposing. It's airy again. It's 10. 155 by 160. And then they turn into this black-red vertical, again max height. As they start to think towards home, there's still 2 fences outstanding. 12 is again maximum, 160, the orange-black vertical. That will then lead them down on 5 strides into the violet spirals Oxa. 155 by 160 is the last fence's dimensionality. This man's built some very big courses this week. GCL Round 2, the qualifier for this Grand Prix, was a fearsome test from Uliano. The master craftsman has set a fascinating challenge. We take you around the start list, and it is your really Howard du Chapeau will be the trailblazer. Gregory Cottard has got Coquin Duval, who won the Bordeaux Grand Prix 2 years ago. And Edwina Tops Alexander 6th in Shanghai, starting early, the double champion. Julie Paillard's never won this Grand Prix. That's an anomaly. The one number 12 will start at 12 with Donatello Dorje. And Sienna Charles, she makes her Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix debut this evening with Chawton. Andreas Sko has got Napoli Van Het and Neda Rasentov. They were 4th in Shanghai, coming middle of the pack. And Ben Mayer is the world number 2. He brings the outstanding points break. Bodie to battle for Great Britain, number 30. Doronis II was 9th here last year with Duarte Seabra, and he'll be followed by the Olympic champion from Paris, Harry Charles. That pair won the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix in London last year. Sherlock, Harry Charles has got the advantage of having a late draw this evening. The grandstand is, of course, full to the gunnels as we anticipate a very exciting 2.5 hours or so of world-class horse sports. It is very special to welcome you to this Grand Prix. And I can tell you that after the 17 former editions we've enjoyed here in Cannes, 9 nations have won this Grand Prix. Germany are the most successful nation. They have won 4 times. 5 nations have won twice. Great Britain with Scott Brash's double, Australia with Edwina Tops Alexander's double, Belgium and France. And otherwise it was the inaugural win for Austria's Thomas Fruman and the Sixth Sense. Spain won with Sergio Alvarez Moya in 2017. And Sweden, in the great hands of Peter Fredriksson, won here in 2018. The trailblazer of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes tonight, presented by La Ville de Cannes. We welcome Jörg Vrilling will show us the way around this imposing course that Uliano Vetsani has set. Uliano's co-assistant is Cedric Longis, the Frenchman, and Marco Latini is the other assistant designer. This is Jörg's third Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this season. He jumped this horse in Mexico City for leg 2, and they were 39th in that Grand Prix. Helwal du Chabout is our trailblazer. They had a very good win, but already an early mistake. The front bar of the Longines Global Champions Tour Oxa is on the Cannes surface, I'm afraid. The brick out of the wall is a second blemish for Jörg Vrilling. They had that very good win in Shanghai, the Baojun 145 competition. Third mistake entering that very serious straight line between 5 and 6A and B. Jörg Vrilling has another one down, and he decides that enough is quite enough, understandably. The hand goes up to signal to our grand jury president this evening. That is Maurice Caillot, the French judge, that he will retire Helwal du Chabout out on the course. Tough start to the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Cannes for 2025. Jörg Vrilling's had a very good week with us. He won the Prix Baron de Rothschild yesterday, the two-phase competition, and he was second this evening in the Prix des Alpes-Maritimes, the département we are situated in here in Cannes.
There will be no jump off for Jörg Vrilling. I'm afraid fences going down means that he will play no part in the upcoming second round later on tonight. Gregory Cotard is now in the ring. After this, in fact, Edwina Tops-Alexander, a former winner here in Cannes, looking to try and take over the LGCT Championship lead. If you want to watch the rest of what takes place here tonight, make sure you sign up for a GCTV Live Pass and come join us for the LGCT Grand Prix of Cannes.